Hello there, this is Madhog, and tonight we... I can do this. I cannot do this. It's hopeless.
It's shit. It's just shit.
Just no. We cannot. Why was I born?
Hold your tears back. We got this. We can pull this off.
Is this what my entire life was leading to?
Yes.
Just reading this thing?
Just go with it. Just go with it.
No. I shall never do that. I shall never just go with it, because if I do that, then it will be like giving up to the forces of absolute evil. And no, I cannot do that. I have my integrity. So, without the way,
Where do we start?
Welcome one and all, welcome everyone to Team Yume's podcast show. And tonight we are taking a look at
It's got a name, you know.
certainly the worst, the absolute worst comic that either of us, me and Shannon here, has ever read in their entire life. It's not just bad. It's not just atrociously, hideously, awfully, preposterously, awful, inhumanly so. It's despicable. It's like every single badly written headcanon from any show and any fandom ever made, clustered together into one awful fan comic of hideous proportions. Have you got anything to say about that, Shannon?
Basically everything you said, but it's not horrible. Hey, it's got some good cameos from different films. That's what makes it good, right? No. This comic loves to throw in cameos from different films, such as Nightmare Before Christmas, Saw, what else?
Mostly cartoons, actually. I don't know.
Danny Phantom, and the author of this comic thinks, oh, this cameo is gonna make people more interested. No, because it depends how long you're throwing the cameo in. This comic goes so far with them, it's not even entertaining anymore.
The problem, Shannon, is that he just keeps throwing references and characters from various shows and comics without a setting, without establishing the world, without establishing the characters or why are they doing what they're doing. So it's all really random things thrown at our faces, just like every single worst fan fiction ever written, all combined into one hellish headcanon hell. And that's only the lightest thing about this comic. The worst thing, look, this comic makes Marvel look like Watchmen in comparison. It's really that bad. It is so bad. It's a scientific discovery. We should be awarded the Nobel Prize just for reading these pages. It's...
Okay, did you vent?
Let's provide some context before delving into this nightmare.
The only absolutely over-the-top thing this comic has for it is the animation. I mean, yeah, the art, basically.
Yeah, the artwork is pretty good. I mean, well-rounded characters.
It just looks good.
Aesthetically pleasing characters and all that, and...
This person should have a DeviantArt.
Props to this guy named Bleedman, seriously. For at least, good talent. Now, if only he wasn't the writer of this. If only somebody with actual talent would write these comics he's drawing. Because as it stands, this is the worst thing ever. And there's only so many times I can say the same thing. So, we should provide some context for this comic. Shouldn't we?
Yes.
So, this thing is called Grim Tales from Down Below, and it's mainly a Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy fan comic. I say mainly because, again, there are a million things thrown at us from various shows and products and cartoons and films that it's just impossible to keep track of. And the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy wasn't a perfect show to begin with. You might disagree with me, Shannon,
It was a great show.
It had its problem.
It's darkish humor. Like, people could say that it's darkish setting. It shouldn't really be on Cartoon Network, but damn, this was a great show.
Well, it had a good premise, and by that I mean it was basically the Animaniacs parody of Ingmar Bergman's The Seventh Seal turned into serious, with the Grim Reaper actually looking more similar to Mandy Calavera from Grim Fandango, which is cool and everything, but the show doesn't really go all that much beyond on premise, now does it? I mean, it's all the same joke over and over again. Billy is stupid or maybe crazy, Mandy is pure evil, and the Grim Reaper is the straight man between the two. And it's funny because of that, but considering how long was this show, the fact that it doesn't really go beyond the premise, and the fact that it keeps adding side characters that aren't really all that funny to the various episodes, in the long run it exhausts its funny bone, and it just gets a little dull. It was still a good show, really good show, and it most certainly did not deserve this thing to happen to it. I mean, it might be just a fine comic, but boy, it is. Okay, let's just give it a look. Let's just start giving a look to the pages. Let's just delve into the absolutely nightmare that is the Green Tales from down below. So, on the first page of this thing here, we are sort of introduced to the two main characters. Sort of main characters. I'm still not quite clear the role they have in all this charade. Anyway,
what kind of name is Mini Mandy?
What?
What kind of name is Mini Mandy?
What kind of name is Grim Reaper Jr.? Anyway, those are their names. They are Mini Mandy and Grim Jr. And in case you couldn't tell already, they are, of course, they are completely one-dimensional OCs. They are supposed to be the daughter and son of Grim and Mandy.
I can't get more canon than that. Oh yeah, because it's not.
I don't know how that is even possible considering Grim is all bones, but let us not descend into those kind of details. We'll live longer and healthier. So anyway, this is just the first page. There's some sort of limbo space looking for flowers, and Mini Mandy talks in this way, which is amusing only for half a second. Shannon, would you please read this? Read the first balloon over.
Pray tell, what is the sound that pierces mine ears? It sings like loneliness and longing, my heart bleeds from the very whisper of it. Is it the voice of souls tormented in the shadows, or merely the wind that sweeps past us? Jesus, this voice is annoying.
Yep, it is kind of annoying, alright. And of course she's going to talk like this for the entire comic. But that's not all.
Just go with it.
No, I already told you I'll never just go with it. It will be an insult to everything I stand for. No, I shall dissect this piece of unnameable substance and prevail. Anyway, they are looking for flowers for some reasons. Anyway, page 2. Okay, everything seems normal here. And they are looking for flowers called necropolins, and she talks like that some more, and he's standing there, monologuing stuff, and, okay.
And I'm bored.
Yeah, I am bored, and you won't be bored by the next panel. Anyway, something seems to, and Grim,
wait until the next page.
Yeah, oh gee, I wonder what's going to appear in the next panel.
Holy shit.
They are being attacked by
A thing.
the freaking Violator from Todd McFarlane's Spawn.
I can go with that.
And he wants to violate Mini Mandy.
Oh, he went.
Yeah, and Grimm just gets his body behind handed to him. So who shall ever save the children from this menacing threat? Why? The Spawn, of course. Back away, Damon. I have no idea how the Spawn is supposed to sound, so I'm going with Batman with the bad case of coughing. Back away, Damon, now! Oh, man, the smog is killing me today.
Okay, I can go with that.
Okay, why is the Spawn here? Why is the Violator here?
We'll never know, just go with it.
Exactly. Now things is established, they're just things introduced for the sake of being introduced. Nothing more than that. So here's what he says right now. He says something about that these kids are under his protection because the Grim Reaper and stuff. And they fight. Shannon, have you got anything to say about this panel right now?
just go with it. I don't want to know what's going on, because they just throw them in out of nowhere just for the sake of introducing people, and they go by the just go with it law. Why are they there? Just go with it.
Shannon, you do realize that you cannot keep saying the same thing over and over again.
Because that's what this comic is. They just keep on throwing things in and throwing things in, and they don't explain why. They just go by, okay, just go with it.
And they ruin childhoods, too. And speaking of which, it's flashback time.
And Mandy has now became boner material.
Yeah, presenting, killing your childhood sins, whatever time this comic was made, Rule 34 Mandy, along with a particularly manly version of Grimm. He put on some muscles, which is impossible, but okay, whatever.
Just go with it.
No! Stop saying dirt! It's irritating. Anyway, this is a flashback that is supposed to explain what the crisping rally is supposed to be happening in this quoted thing they call comic, right? Well, prepare to be explained nothing. So in this night of Halloween night, the little fella here wonders, what the heck is Halloween anyway? So the mother, instead of, explaining to him in 4 simple sentences what Halloween is supposed to be all about, the candies and the scares, he sends both her children to Halloween Town. Because why not?
Oh, my childhood. It's gone.
This is your childhood being murdered right in front of you. So here's the thing. Now there's supposed to be a few pages that
It's a few pages of the song.
yeah, and here's a problem with that. This is a song, and to truly experience music, you will have to have a audible cue. This is a comic. You cannot reproduce the feeling of the original song from Nightmare Before Christmas on written and drawn pages. It just gets redundant, especially since he wastes 3 whole pages in doing this, reproducing an entire song, and that's just plain padding of the most abrasive kind. So let's skip those pages and jump cut to the appearance of our favorite skeleton guy. And there he is. Here's Jack
God.
Skellington
I never knew Jack Skellington, in the meantime, was a pedophile.
He looks kind of creepy, I admit, and so apparently Jack Skellington is Grimm's brother.
Oh, there goes my childhood out the window once again.
No, they call him Uncle Jack. So I'm only going to so natural to assume he must be either Grimm's brother or related in some way. And yeah,
That's nice.
that after.
Why are they brothers? Just go with it.
Shannon, if you say just go with it, I will slap you right across the internet. Get it?
Just go with it.
Ah!
Ow.
There. Now go to your angle and reflect upon your actions. Go.
Okay, let's just go to the next page before I cry.
So these creatures are hideous.
Um,
What are those supposed to be? I mean, I know there are characters, background characters from the field, but man, they look really creepy. I mean, and not
like I said, the art is really good.
Anyway, there is a dance in here, and
Aw, so much jelly.
Jack's going to this dance with Mandy, and yeah, it's great. It's kind of unsettling, actually. And little Bruno here is jealous of her sister because well, so of course he wants to dance too.
Ship it.
And he dances this character. I'm sorry, I can't seem to remember her name.
Her name is Sally, I think.
Sally, which was an okay character.
Can you speak up a little?
She was an okay character from the movie. The movie we all loved as children, but now it's getting molested by this comic. So anyway, we haven't seen anything really atrocious by now, just really annoying, but yeah, keep following us, folks. You'll see soon enough.
Oh no.
Anyway, of course he screws up big time and makes a complete fool of himself, and is the laughing stock of the Halloween party, and oh, there's a line from Grimm. What does he say? Oh, sigh. Don't those two ever got along?
I'm pretty sure it does not sound like that.
Seriously, listen. To me, Grimm sounds like an Eastern European Jamaican. I mean, it's really weird accent. Mandy, what are you doing? Mandy. It's really weird.
He does not. He sounds a little Romanian.
What kind of an accent is that supposed to be? I mean, that's really... Mandy. Anyway, so the little fella is uploading. I would like to point out that there hasn't been character development at this point. These characters are not exactly have been introduced or even established, and they're just one note. They're just regular OCs, really. Not really created if you get down to it. I mean, these Green Juniors could just be that Death Junior from the homonymous video game series with hair. And anyway, he gets epically kidnapped by
The creepy
real
children.
devil.
The trick-or-treating children.
What did you say?
The trick-or-treating children.
Yeah, the servants of the Oogie Boogie Boogie of the Oogie Boogie Oogly Oogly Boogie Oogie Boogie, the Boogeyman, basically, which was a good villain in the film. Anyway, it turns out they weren't actually wanting to kidnap him. It was just their quirky way of saying hello. Of course.
Hello, we just kidnapped you from your party. Let's be friends now.
Yeah, and of course, the child is totally excited about being part of a club, and apparently is just about as stupid as it could possibly be. So, Shannon, let me ask you a question. This is already a flashback. So, what would be the worst possible thing to do inside a flashback?
A flashback inside a flashback.
Start in a flashback inside the flashback, because that's good storytelling. So not only the original flashback did not explain anything, now we're going to have another flashback inside the flashback to explain even more backstory in the world as aggravating
Oh,
way
hey,
possible.
look, in character. Whoa.
So now, the next pages are basically a really thorough recap of the entire Grim Adventures of Bill and Mandy series. All
Gee,
of it.
Wiz, I wonder what happened to Billy.
Text upon text of information that might be useful, but really it's delivered in the most annoying way possible. It explains the original show that you already knew about, otherwise you wouldn't be reading this fan comic, but it doesn't explain what the Hellington is going on in present time still. And it really feels like it's wasting your time. Oh, and by the way, Shannon.
Yes?
Shannon, I know you have an headcanon about Billy ending up with Mandy, right?
Yes, and this comment just stepped on it.
Okay, in this page it explains that Billy was nothing but a tool for Mandy, so there you go with your shipping fantasy.
Oh, there goes all my Billy x Mandy comics.
Yep. Wait, you mean you actually made Billy x Mandy comics?
Okay, too much information.
Yeah, I agree with that. So, oh my god, more text, more and more and more text. It never ends. It's a text of police. Text. It's really, god damn it. So anyway, what does explain? We're actually getting somewhere here. Shannon.
Yes?
Where were you just a
I
moment
need
ago?
to go get my charger because I have to sit here and read this terrible, terrible comic, and I don't think my computer can handle this.
Yeah, I don't think any machine built by man can handle this unholy piece of abomination or something. So anyway, here's something we can relate to. The Grim Reaper actually grows fond of the children, and I know it's laughable, but and he starts having a second thought about, actually reaping their soul as he was supposed to do. Oh, and by the way, on a footnote, you see this guy on the bottom
Holy
right
motherfuck! It's the ice cream truck!
This guy is the pedophile child murderer that was in Todd McFarlane's Spawn, and he's giving ice cream to Billy and Mandy.
Gee whiz, another cameo.
And a particularly horrendous one, too. So anyway, more discussing thing, Mandy starts to notice there's something wrong with the fact that they're not dying when they should be dead. Oh, and by the way, nice cue of her shadow turning into evil McEvilly there, is glowing eyes behind. And there is a really funny exchange between Green and the pedophile ice cream guy, and by that I mean it's totally not funny. It's really, really just. I wish Green would actually cut this guy's head with his scythe instead of conversing amiably with him, because why is this guy around? Why is this guy still around? Should have been dealt with in the actual Spawn comic, not that I read that kind of comic. Anyway, there's a pool party. We're still in the flashback inside the flashback, I remind you. And, Shannon, why don't you comment on this page?
What do I even have to say? It's a flashback inside a flashback, and now we're at a pool party.
Yeah, we said that already. There is a person, so this is the moment in which Mandy realizes she should have been already dead, because the sand in her metaphorical and literal hourglass of her life has been expired, so her time should be expired too. And so she does the next logical thing. She slits her throat!
Oh, that was so twisted and horrible, and oh my god, I don't care.
Yeah, they could be
That was
actually
just, that's not like Mandy.
just it's just for the shock value, you know.
That's, it's so out of character. Mandy's such a dark, evil character, but she wouldn't go as far as to actually kill herself. Or at least
But
attempt to.
you know, this could have been actually interesting if the comic would have actually have the would actually build the moment, would have led us to this moment by establishing the story in the second instead of doing flashbacks inside flashbacks that don't explain anything at all and throwing stupid cameos after doing cameo. As it stands, this exists only for shock value. And
What,
by that happy note, we end chapter 1. Alleluia. Let's move on to
but
the next
what I'm
chapter.
saying is that I'm not saying it's just for shock value. I'm saying it was so out of character. If Mandy knew that she had all the time in the world and if she was to figure out that Grimm wouldn't kill her, she'd take advantage of that. She wouldn't just try to kill herself.
Well, she does something interesting later on, but it still feels kind of out of character because that would imply that she's actually cared for someone.
Oh dear lord, the out of character, it burns.
You know, there was a point actually. I remember a point in a Adventures of Grimm Adventures of William Mandy movie, in which Mandy is shown her future, her greatest fear, and her greatest fear is to actually care for others, which is really interesting actually. And another thing, I think she actually cares for Billy and Grimm. It is shown at some point, but she would never admit it. Still, that's the only bit of character development she ever gets in the entire show. Otherwise, she's just evil, and that's that. Kind of one-dimensional, if you ask me. Anyway, chapter 2, and the flashback continues, and
Billy runs around naked.
I did not need to see Billy naked, but okay. So here's an interesting aspect, using interesting with quotation marks. Billy's fate is linked with Mandy, and this is his hourglass. Look at how contorted and twisted it is. It makes no sense, just like the character himself, which is kind of clever. It's the only thing possibly clever about this whole thing, this one panel over here. Do you have to say anything about it?
Just go with it.
No, I was actually complimenting. Ah! It hurts. It hurts. Physically.
And, okay, I needed to see Grimm like that. I definitely needed to see that.
Oh, that's a big cartoon too. What I definitely did not need to see is Mandy succubus version in this mirror here. Especially since she's 10 in this continuity.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's just go on. So, oh, by the way, here's what happens to Billy. He dies, he goes to paradise, he gets kicked out of paradise, he is dragged to hell, he gets kicked out of hell, and then he just becomes a ghost.
Well, that's a nice way to get rid of a main character. You kill him, you send him to heaven, you send him to hell, and then you just let him wander around because you don't have anywhere else to put him.
And that's what happens to Billy, and that's the whole importance that Billy has in this comic. Billy's been dealt with. He will never be important ever again.
I'm pretty sure that's the last time you see the main character of the series. It's probably the last time you're going to see him in this comic.
Probably yes, and it is barely a footnote in a fun comic supposedly about the grim adventures of Billy and Mandy. Great storytelling!
Grim Adventures of Mini Mandy and Grimm Jr. Oh joy, too bad they have no character development whatsoever.
Yeah.
It burns.
No, nobody has. Oh, and if you're wondering what whatever happened to Irwin. Well, there is this panel in which Irwin has his voodoo doll and Mandy's torturing him. That is actually kind of believable. Yeah, but still, that's how they dealt with Irwin as well. Not even a page, a small little panel.
That's nice.
If you ever cared about Irwin, that's whatever. So now she starts the neighborhood watch, and she gets the one Teletubbies in his Nazi army style of army, including.
Is that Boots from Dora? Oh no,
What?
no, look at the little monkey. Is that Dora? Oh my, why? It looks like she's a Nazi.
I think they are all quite.
You just turned a lovable toddler's idol into a Nazi. Thank you so much.
Look, it's evil con carne in Yogi Bear's body.
Oh yay. I'm not supposed to be in this comic. Ha ha ha, fourth wall.
Yeah, and by the way, we are Nasty Burgers from Danny Phantom. Here's Danny Phantom over here. And then we have the Grim Reaper sitting aside Coop from Megas XLR. Because why not? Oh, and by the way, I love Megas XLR. It's a lot of fun as a show. And here, he dies of heart attack.
Okay.
Just like this.
Just go with it.
He was the butt of a joke. Of a joke about dying of heart attack. Nice.
Yes,
real
that's
nice.
funny.
Let's move on. Now, Mandy grows into a Japanese schoolgirl and then into a X-Men character. Or something.
Just go with it.
And then she's Demona from Gargoyles when she's human and the leader of a corporation, if you remember that cartoon. Oh, and here's the thing. You probably were too young. You don't remember a movie called My Name is Joe Black or something. A movie in which Brad Pitt is the Grim Reaper and he calls himself Joe Black. So of course the Grim Reaper has to reference that by appearing dressed as Joe Black in disguise. Even though it makes no sense, because we know in this universe everyone can see the Grim Reaper just fine, so it doesn't need to wear a disguise. Which means that this completely gratuitous reference is even more pointless than it originally was. Anyway, here's what happens, and your mind is about to be blown, but he proposes to Mandy.
Oh my god, it's canon. No. It can't be canon. Not yet.
It's just Headcanon. So, yeah,
Time
okay.
to cry.
And then he reveals himself to be the Grim Reaper, which is no surprise for anyone, but here you go. And, okay, now let me ask you something else. What is the worst thing you could possibly do in a flashback inside another flashback?
A flashback inside of another flashback inside of another flashback, and my brain hurts now.
It's a flashbackception. I mean, wow! How could you possibly start and get another flashback inside the flashback of another flashback? That is just beyond comprehension. Stupid. This is stupid. And more text, more wall of text, and text, and texty, and texting, and text, and that. Anyway,
Okay, calm down, cause when you scroll down the page, I think I'm prepared for a rant.
Yeah, I have a rant too, actually. You know what? Okay, so this flashback is supposed to explain why the Grim Reaper fell in love with Mandy, and it's not just stupid. It's not just aggravating and annoying, but it's possibly the most despicable thing any author of any story could have possibly done in a lifespan. It's just nasty and despicable and awful. So anyway, here's a callback to that episode in which Billy plays the Grim Reaper. Now we have a sequel in which Mandy plays as the Grim Reaper. So, what does Mandy do during her time as a Grim Reaper? She causes 9/11 and Katrina.
Where do I begin here? I...
Oh, wait. You know why she does it? You know why she causes 9/11 and Katrina? To begin with, she does it because she wanted to remind Grimm what it meant to be the Grim Reaper, to inspire him to do a better job. So, this author had the absolute audacity, he had the absolute nerve to take two real-life tragedies like 9/11 and Katrina and turn them into pitiful, pathetic, poorly done plot devices to make the Grim Reaper feel better about himself. In a flashback inside a flashback inside another flashback.
Is it my turn to start ranting?
Please, go on.
I live in America, very close to where 9/11 happened. This is not a joke. They used a real-life tragedy and played it off as a sick little joke. This is not a joke. Actual people died here. People died. I don't know what happened in Katrina. I was not in Louisiana at that time, but people died. It's basically what Adriana said. This author used two actual tragedies where actual people died. People lost family members, and you're using this as a sick little joke. It hasn't been 100 years yet. It's only been 11. This author, I fucking hate him at this moment. I'm sorry if you're listening to this, but you just used two tragedies as a sick little joke. It's not a joke. I'm not laughing.
Shannon, I'm done.
I'm done. I read further in this, but I don't even want to go there. I don't want to start screaming.
I'm done. It cannot be done. It cannot be continued. This is where I draw the line. We cannot proceed beyond this. It's Shannon.
Yes.
Fuck this comic. Fuck it with a crowbar hard. Fuck it with a chainsaw in its eye socket. Fuck the internet for allowing this piece of shit to exist. Fuck this planet for allowing this thing to be born. Fuck the solar system, the Milky Way, the whole fucking universe. Fuck everything. I'm done.
Before we end this podcast, I do have one last thing to say. Just go with it.